Good evening, and I just want to say I hope you're all well. I've been out of action for a couple of weeks due to various reasons. One, I was poorly for a couple of weeks, and then my streaming machine decided to give up the ghost, so it's left me without a machine for the best part of 3 weeks. So that's why you've not seen any streams from me. I do enjoy doing this sim racing north at Nord so I'm glad to be back. And today's race is taking place at the wonderful Italian track of Monza. As you know, it's a very long track with quite a decent straight and an end section with a technical in a bit towards the start from T1 onwards. Looking like there's going to be about 10 drivers on track. It's a 60-minute race with fine weather, and there is a compulsory fuel stop. So every driver will have to pull in and do a fuel stop. We've got 1 minute 50 left in practice, and then we will go to qualifying and we'll sit on board with various drivers. As a result of me having to restore my machine out, some of the sound levels may or may not be correct, so any feedback at this point would be really beneficial to allow me to fine-tune the sound levels just to make sure I've got them right. And from my perspective, you're not inundated by engine revs, you can hear me clearly. I do have a friend of mine, Mark Cooley, who says the sounds so far so good. Let's see what it's going to be like in the race. So I'm going to go to live on track now. As I say, it's official practice. There's 1 minute left of practice, and the driver's just getting to know the track. I think pole position is going to be a 1:47. I think it's pretty clear that that's the times I would expect someone to achieve on this track, with the majority of the drivers in the 1:48s and the 1:49s. Are you there? Hope you're well. Marcel, as I've seen many weeks now racing, he's a very quick driver. He was in the 1:47.4s before. I think Michael did get into the 1:48 flats or a 1:48.1, so it's certainly going to be quite a battle up front. Now I do believe I've got the majority of drivers' liveries, but I don't have Marius's. So Marius's car is just showing as the default black livery. Unfortunately, can't do anything more than that. So if I had the livery, you would have seen it. So as you can see on the screen there, you can see all the liveries. You can see my car, the number 13. I won't be racing for obvious reasons. I'm doing this for the stream. So I will go into the pits at the start of the race so I can continue to stream the race. Hopefully it's going to be fun. We're going to go to qualifying in a second, and then we'll take it from there. Let's wait for the server to switch over. Oh, sorry, the session to switch over as the drivers pull into the pits or abandon their lap on track. Yeah, Christian's driving into the pits. That's quite helpful. Also, if you see any of the overlays and you think I could change anything on the overlays, again, please feed that information back to me. The static ones, the speed, the table, and that are part of Race Labs. All the ones that pop up and say pits, fastest lap, they're my own. So if you think they could be clearer or could contain more information, please let me know. So that pit stop one there is my own overlay when someone enters the pits. That's going to come in handy during the race because it's a pit stop race. I do actually record as well how long they're in the pits, so I do get an understanding of the pit stop, but you will see from Race Labs that also does it for you as well. It'll also tell you what lap they've pitted. It'll go through various things. It will show you the gap, it will show you the fastest lap and things like that, just so you can keep track of what's going on. I will try my best to keep in focus with the carnage, if there is any, or any incidents, shall we say. And we've now gone to official quali, so I'll click drive. I won't be going out, but what I will do is I will go out with one of the drivers. And I think what we'll do is we'll go out with Michael to start with. I'm not so much going to give you a track tour guide, but you know, I'll try to explain what the driver will be aiming to achieve. So T1 is usually chaos at the start of the race. And then we've got the sweeping right-hander down to the fast straight, and you're braking around the 100-metre mark, the 100 mark. Hard onto the brakes, and then get the car to rotate left, stealing a bit of the curb on the left-hand side, and you'll probably see Michael do that. May not be so much on an outlap. And then you're looking to steal the curb and not hit too much of that sausage to get around on the right-hand side. And now you've got a double right-hander. Again, you want to pick your braking point, ease off a little bit, take as much as the curb as you can to keep the balance of the car, get the power back on, and then exactly the same with the second curve. Again, looking to take a bit of the apex and getting the power on as soon as you can to stay within track limits. Now with a bad setup car there, you quite easily spin it into the wall. You've now got a straight that goes downhill under the bridge, an overtaking opportunity here, and then again we got a hard braking zone with the left-hander, where really you want to be taking the curb on the left-hand side to get the car to rotate, and trying to get the car tethered around this right-hander, and then across on the left-hander again onto the last but one straight. Flat out, get the car to the left-hand side of the track, and again you're looking to brake as late as possible before the parabolica, which is the right-hander. So around now you'd be braking, and then onto the parabolica. Get to the little guy there stood on the railings in the orange, and you're looking to accelerate just prior to that and get the car to rotate round the corner, and then onto the start-finish straight. And then this start-finish straight is really flat out. If you get a nice toe down here, you can really get some speed, but you will have to adjust your braking point. Your braking point's between 140 and 150 yards, I think, at full tilt. If you do any later than that, you're going into the placards at the end. So we'll stay with Michael, and we'll see what sort of lap time he's going to introduce on his first flying lap. You've had a bit of a lap tour there. Obviously, Michael's driving the car. He may do it differently to the way I've explained it, but in principle, everyone I've seen tends to do this track that way. If you get to overtake, that obviously changes the course of action. There are plenty of overtaking opportunities on this track actually as well. There's probably at least 3-4 straights you've got the opportunity to pass if you get the drive out the corner behind the car in front. So it's certainly an overtaking track, and if a mistake is made in the double right-hander here, well, again, you can get a pass done as well if you've got the courage to go up the inside. Probably not working around the outside, but you might get it up the inside. So yeah, it's taking the curb within track limits and getting the car tethered round, and then across the curb on the left and flat out now. And he'll be braking into the parabolica. And you'll see he'll start accelerating as the little man on the right appears, and the little orange end of the bollard. We've got the power on with the little man, and the car will naturally drift left. If you do go too wide there, you will get track limits and possibly a warning. And we can see there Marcel has just done a 148.3. And Michael did a 148.9. So let's jump on board with Christian, who's in a Nissan. So this is not a car I see many people choosing, but kudos for certainly giving it a go. It's a car I couldn't warm to. From my perspective, I just couldn't get the pace out of it. Now, if you've got the right setup and you're familiar with the car, it's like anything else, you'll be really, really quick in it. Let's see where Christian goes. He's on his second lap now. We didn't really see the end of his first lap. And we've got 15 minutes left of qualifying to go. He was very late into that corner there. He's had to rescue the car, so that will have cost him precious time. Let's see where his braking point is here. He's working with the car to get the car to rotate into the corners. You can see he took a lot of the right curb there, but he just couldn't carry the speed through. That was a good exit. Marcel's gone even faster. He's now done a 1:48.2. Yeah, he lost a bit of time in that corner because he eased off. Well, this lap time is probably going to be very similar to what he previously did. Yeah, it not accelerating in the same place as Michael, as we can see there then. Ever so slightly different. Just held off a little bit. And again, that could purely be car setup. And he did go faster. He did a 1:58.6. So let's jump on board with Thomas. Thomas is in a lovely liveried Mercedes, and the car that's probably got one of the nicest noises. Noted, Mark, thanks. It's because the camera's away from the car, so it's quite difficult to get the volume levels all the same from inside the car and outside the car. For obvious reasons, if I have it inside the car and it's loud, it'll overshadow me. If I'm outside the car, the camera's set away, so you're getting obviously a much quieter approach. Likewise, if I go to the helicam, it goes almost quiet because I'm so far away, so I can't really get the volume to adjust that way. So I can cater for the different viewing angles, if you like. But I'll have it very, very loud in car, so you can hear it on the outside of the car at a detriment to being able to hear me, or have it so it's a relatively good volume in the car, but you can't hear other things. I did state we might get a 147, and there it is, a 147.7. The track temperature is cooling. So I can, the track temperature has gone down to 31. I think it was a little bit warmer than that. So this race is in the evening. So what that means is it's going to get cooler as the race goes on. I don't know to what degree the cooling is going to affect the race, but ultimately it is going to cool down. I've got little notifications telling me whether the temperature is going up or down. So it had gone up briefly, and the ambient temperature actually is up, but the track temperature is now dropping. So Klaus is coming into the pits. We still have 11 minutes of quali, so they'll be going in doing a few changes, possibly practicing a pit stop, and they'll off they'll go again. It's really battling with that. It looked like it didn't actually want to stop. Yeah, it's really suffering with understeer. That's an invalid lap. It's really not rotating. Let's go on board with the BMW. This is an outlap. Oh, good mixture of cars. 2 BMWs, McLaren, or 2 McLarens, 2 Ferraris, 1 Ford. Sorry, 2 Fords, 1 Nissan, and 1 Mercedes. My Ford doesn't count because I'm not racing. So Marius has yet to put a lap in, so we'll stay on board with Marius while he gets his lap in. BMW is a good all-rounder. But 1 or 2 tracks now it starts to show its lack of agility. Alright, so this is now going to be his flying lap. 10 minutes to go. Some good pace down there, into the 170 mile an hour. Got that to rotate well. Didn't really suffer much understeer. Did get the car down to a good pace though to get the corner. BMW is one of them cars you can actually steal that sausage curb a little bit. Or you're talking, you know, half a tenth you could possibly make by just stealing that sausage curb. Again, that looked like it struggled understeering as well. Maybe just putting too much pace into the corner. See, that one was much better. So he may have just carried a bit too much speed into the previous corner, because it did look very laboured on the turn. Very, very tentative through there. Would have really kept the power on a little bit earlier and whipped through there. So this is not, I don't think this is going to put him in the top portion. It's going to be, I think, in the 150s, possibly low 150s this. Some of these drivers I've not seen race before, so I don't know how they race, you know, where they stand in relation to some of the other drivers. So that was a 150, low 150, yep. So good lap considering. I think he can easily take another tenth, another second out of that. Let's jump on board with, who shall we pick on? Let's go on board with the Ford. Big brute of a Ford. So flat all the way through there. That corner at Monza, the Ford really does struggle because it wants to pull to the right all the time. So you've really got to get the entry and exit of that corner right, otherwise it'll push you off. So let's see what sort of speed he's going to get down the straight. I think the BM got to 172, 173. At 174, slightly quicker. So in a tow, again, it's going to be 176, 77. Might even get into sixth gear as well. Benjamin's best time is a 148.3, and at the moment it looks like I'm just trying to work now. That corner's really put him down, I think. Yeah, I think that corner's upset him a little bit there. I think he's slightly off his pace here, half a second off. We'll see, it could be wrong. It's showing the delta as 0 at the moment. His delta's still at 0, so he's on a very, very similar lap time. He was quite late getting the power on there, and I think that's cost him a bit of time. That. Oh, he's pitting. It doesn't really matter then, does it, if he's pitting? Okay, so Marius is 7/10 up. So back on board in the BM. He is 7/10 up, so let's see where this is going to put him. You can get this corner nailed. I think he's 8/10 up now. 9/10. His last lap was a 149, but it was invalid. He's 1.2 tenths up now, 1.2 seconds up. Marcel's gone slightly faster, 4.765. Go 1.3, 1.2 up. So this is going to put him into the 149.1 or 149 flat. 149 flat, 149.080. Thomas is going slightly faster. We have 4 minutes left to go. Got the rotation better this time by the looks of it. Oh, it's very loose at the back. The big brute. Nils behind is a 10th up. He's now at even. That's too deep. That's a spoilt lap. Let's jump on board with Klaus. Klaus is 1/10 up. His best is a 1:48.242. So he's 2/10 up now. Again, looks like I don't have his livery either. 3/10 up. Marcel's gone faster again, 1:47.6 this time. Got a bit of time. Klaus is down to 2/10. Well, this sector is going to be really important. So he's lost a 10th in that sector. He's lost 2/10. So his time's starting to reel off a little bit now. He really needs to get this corner nailed if he's going to better his time. He needs 2/10 to take third position anyway. It's going to be close this. He's gained a bit of time. Gains another 10th. He's going to go get third place. Still might do. There you go, second place. Just 1:47.997. Excellent end of the lap there for Klaus. Really, really quick. Hi Zero Hunter. Welcome. Marco is going quicker. Let's jump on board with Marco. It's very wide. I'm not too sure whether that's within track limits or not. We've got 1 minute to go, so not really going to get another lap in, and that will have been track limits, I think it's fair to say, because yeah, he was trying to drive on a different service road there by the looks of it. Let's jump on board with Thomas, 4/10 up. He's lost a lot of time. He was 4/10 up. He's still 2/10 up, but he's lost a lot of time in that sector alone. And he did go a little bit faster, a 1:48.512. So I think we're coming to the end of qualifying now. The only person on track going relatively faster is Michael. And no, I think he's lost time as well. Yeah, so nobody's bettering the times. They've all achieved optimum now by the looks of it. And we're just seeing it through to the end, to the start of the race. So as mentioned, I'll go straight to the pits. Unfortunately, Race Labs doesn't work in commentary mode where you can spectate. You've actually got to be on the server. So that is why I'm registered and I'm on the server, but I'm not racing. That is me at the bottom. But it does mean I can stream the whole race and control the cameras and stuff as a result of it. You can see there the fastest lap times displayed on screen. Now, Marco's slightly faster, so is Nils. I'm going to keep an eye on them. No, Nils has lost his. Marco could claim third here. Looking at that time, he could get second. So Marco could get second place. So let's see where Michael goes first. Michael could go second here. We'll just have to wait and see. But Marco's on a flyer. He is really, really shifting Marco. I'll switch to Marco as soon as this is over. Yeah, Michael did go faster. And, ooh, tell you what, it's going to take some beating that. Marco's really got to pull this together. He's lost time there in that sector. In that little section there in the curbs. He's got to get this corner nailed. No, I think he's lost too much time here. Could be wrong. I think he's. I think that last section has caused him a problem. No, he did go faster. Moved him in front of Klaus. Very, very close. 4 drivers into the 147s. 3 drivers in the 148s, 2 in the 149s, and Christian up the rear with a 151. Wait for them all pit, and then wait for the server to move over, and then we'll be good to go again. So the track temperature and the ambient temperature did drop. The track temperature only dropped by a couple of degrees, but the ambient temperature did seem to start going down quite quickly. I'm not too sure whether that's going to affect the tyres, but ultimately it may do. So let's have a quick look at liveries. Yeah, the session's ended, so I can't really do much now. The next thing it'll do is put us on the grid. I'll be ready to go. So I'm not going to start. I'm going to leave this and it'll teleport me to the pits. That is my choice. That is what I'm going to do there. As I say, I'm not taking part in this. You'll just see me sat at the back, but I will be able to control it. And once the race is ready to go, the screen should clear up as well. I'll have to wait 30 seconds before I can even click start. So the start grid is Marcel in pole, Michael P2, Marco P3, Klaus P4, Benjamin P5, Thomas P6, Nils P7, Marius P8, Christian P9, and Christian Stour P10. So 10 people racing. Should be quite good, entertaining race. As I said, hopefully I'll keep track of all the action. It is an hour's race, just to reiterate, and there's a mandatory pit stop. So the ambient temperature to start with is 29 degrees and the track temperature is 33 degrees. The wind speed, which really doesn't come into play, is 3 kilometres going towards the west. 3 kilometres ain't going to affect anything. To be honest, in ACC I don't think you ever see it blowing a gale, so I think the wind's completely pointless. The track is optimum, so that means everyone's going to be able to get the tyres warm as soon as possible and start putting good lap times in. Now, because they can pit whenever, there'll be different strategies going on. Some will start light and some will start heavy. You've got the option of doing a tyre stop. Now the downside is the fuel stop is fixed to 25 seconds, so whether you put 1 litre in or 100 litres in, it'll take 25 seconds. Tyre stop is 30 seconds. So do you want to waste 5 seconds for tyres, or do you go the full hour on one set of tyres? That's quite a tricky call, that. I suppose it's where you are in the position. If you're well ahead, you might be able to afford the 5 seconds. But if you're not and you're battling, you may just want to do the fuel and go. We've got 1 minute to go, and then we'll be ready to start the engines in 30 seconds. As I said, I won't be starting mine. I'll teleport. And then we'll control the cameras and we'll get ready for T1. Get that replay button going, just in case. Okay, so I can click drive now, and what I can do now is I can go to Marcel at the front and I'm going to go to Helicam. You can see I've got all 10 cars in there, and mine will be left on the grid. That's fine. As I said, I'm not racing, so I'm not really bothered. It looks like we've got a tour lap. Looks like all drivers are going to go round and do a full lap, because I think that's the start finish straight. and you can't do dead starts on ACC, so I think they're going to be doing a warm-up lap, although it does affect your tyres. We go. Well, it is definitely going to be a warm-up lap. You can see there it's formation lap. There'll be no issue here. There's no ghosting. Sorry, there is ghosting, so cars can go into each other. One thing you won't get away with is hitting a barrier. So just keep it on track and try not to damage the car. And then as they come around the parabolica, they'll be asked to put back in position again. So I'm still stuck on the grid. I hope it moves me out of the way. Bit worrying, isn't it? Not put me in the pitch yet. Oops. There you go. I've pitted. So this formation lap, it'd be really good if it did warm your tyres up, but you can't really get the speed up to warm your tyres up, so your tyres actually start cooling down. It's even worse. I've chosen the wrong car park. Yeah, can't park there, mate. But if the temperatures were even cooler, or it was a night race, it does present a big problem because it takes you a good while to get your tyres up. Luckily, as this is a fast track, you know, you can put a bit of effort into the corners and roast your tyres a little bit more. Talk amongst yourselves while we get round. Yeah, they're all staying together relatively well. Queuing up now, ready. Going to get themselves into position for the start of the race. And then we'll be good to go. So I'm going to go to Helicam in a minute. So the track temperature's already gone down by a degree. It's already down to 32 degrees. So the track is already starting to cool. The ambient temperature's currently the same. But yeah, the track temperature is dropping. Right, I'm going to go to Helicam. Just tweak the volume a little bit there, just in case it helps. Are we ready to go in a second? Into T1. Hopefully there'll be no carnage or chaos and everyone will get round quite easy. But we shall see. Here we go. Everyone's in frame. That's the way we want it. More or less. We're going to get round. Looks like we've got round well. Michael and Marco. Oh, bit of a nudge there with Benjamin and Thomas. It does look like everyone's managed to get through there without a problem. Excellent stuff. So the next collision point is is coming up to the hairpin here, the double turn, if you like. Oh, again, very close to the Mustang and the Mercedes there, but everyone's through. And Marcel's romping away But Klaus is trying to keep up a little bit, which is quite good. It will take a couple of laps for the battles to start commencing. While the tyres get warm. So we might actually see a couple of overtakes early on here. Yeah, that McLaren's really up the inside of the Mercedes there. The Mercedes has got a lot of grunt on the straight. He's got the inside corner, but you can see the Mercedes is starting to put the power down now. Who's got the courage to brake late and brake last. Going round together. And the Mercedes keeps the position. Good racing that, nice close racing, a lot of respect shown. We've got a car going wide there, and that was the Nils in the McLaren. Managed to, he's lost a place, but I don't know whether he'd have got a warning for that. Oh, that's a new corner angle in the Mustang. That was Christian. And the Nissan is still keeping going at the back. The Ferrari's gone really wide. Mustang's trying to catch the Ferrari here of Marco. We're on board with Marco. You can see the Mustang's really gaining. Got a lot of high-end grunt, the Mustang, so if he can keep close, I think we'll see him close in a little bit. But one thing we noticed with Marco and Michael, they get the power down early in the Parabolica. Marcel there with a 148.5. Nice lap to start with. Benjamin did a 148.7, and you can see he's really gaining. He's not going to make it here, but he's not going lightly on Marco there. Right into that corner. They seem to be losing Michael behind after his wide exit. Under braking, the Mustang is absolutely brilliant. See how much he gained under braking there. Got to be the car with the best brakes in the game. It brakes for fun. He's just got it a bit wrong there. It's lost him a bit of time. It looks like the Ferrari is now gaining on Benjamin. Oh, bit of a slide there in the Mustang. Looks like he got a bit sideways. He's still going. Does that cost him a little bit of time with Michael? Not really. Michael has gained, to be fair, though. Yeah. Oh, is it boot on the other foot time? 148.3 from Marcel. Nah, it's got too much grunt. Even in the tow, the Ferrari can't keep up with it. These two are still battling. That's Thomas and Nils. And the other Mustang now with Christian started to pull away from the cars behind as well, from Marius and Christian. Oh, bit of a mistake there. That's cost him dearly. And is the Mustang going to get him as well? The Mustang indeed is going to get him. I would expect him to come back. Oh, not necessarily. Is he going to defend? It looked like he had a good run there, the Mercedes, so this is going to be interesting just to see what happens here. Mustang's too deep. That's going to cost him. Oh, what's happened to Benjamin there? Let's go back and do a replay on Benjamin. Did he just hit the curb? He did. Has he hit the wall? Got away with it? Oh, he's hit the wall. He may have damage. Yeah, the front of that Mustang's looking rather twisted there. Yeah, flappy bonnet. So it's going to cost him a bit of time, that. So it'll be interesting to see if Christian's going to get him in the Nissan. Is he losing that much pace? So he was getting 174 before on the straight. What's he going to get this time? How much hindered has he been? 163. So he's 4 miles an hour down. So that's definitely going to hurt him. He's not. I don't think he's going to be able to catch some of the quicker drivers in front and may have to do a repair in his pit stop. Just a reminder, it's a mandatory fuel pit stop with a time limit set of 25 seconds for fuel, whether you take 1 litre or you take 100 litres. Now, the drivers have now just broken away a little bit now. There's gaps appearing all over the track. So there's not much in the way of, shall we say, racing going on. The gap between Marcel and Klaus is 1.7 seconds, or 1.8. And Klaus and Marco's 2.5, and so on and so forth. So there's quite a few different gaps going on there. And this is the closest two on track. We've got Michael and Marco, both in the Ferrari. A 148.1. Really is flying as Marcel. He's not hanging up the reins, is he? He's keeping it flat to the floor. Oh, someone's took a bollard out. All the drivers are actually going faster as well, so the tyres are definitely coming into play here. But Benjamin's losing time to the car in front, I think. Although his last lap was a 149, so it's still respectable even though he's got damage. I think he would have been a lot quicker if he hadn't received that damage though, because he was really pushing. Very wide angle there from Michael. Really pushing. 1.4 seconds. He's fluctuating between 1.4 and 1.6 seconds. This is the closest battle we've got on track. It does look like Marco's starting to reel Klaus in a little bit. I'll keep an eye on them times just to see if that is the case. As you can still see Klaus in shot as well as he just goes past us there. So the gap isn't a million miles away. That's sometimes encouraging as well when you're racing, seeing the car in front of you. And what you tend to do is, certainly when they're a good distance away, when they go into a bend, you know where they are on that lap. and on the next lap you see whether they've gone ahead of you or you've caught them up a little bit, and it's quite a good feeling and sensation because you realise from your perspective that actually you're gaining, or the opposite, you're losing time. You saw the 148 flat from Marcel, so I think he's going to be in the 147s before we know it. Michael's got the gap down to under a second on Marco, so this is going to start getting a bit spicy in a minute. And Thomas is gaining on Nils after Nils pulling away a little bit. I think he's starting to come back into it a little bit now. Yeah, Marco's just pulled away a touch there. Good exit there from Michael though. He's still going wide. There'll be a track warning, some of them track limits. I don't know about warnings, but there'll be track limits. He's gaining on him here, you can see. Now whether that's because he's carrying more speed or he's well within a second now. Again, he's cut that corner quite significantly. That may well be a track limit as well. You get away with so much on that corner. That exit there is okay, but the corner, it's quite forgiving, but if you go too far it will give you a warning or a track limit. Unfortunately I can't see any of that information. I can't tell you if anyone's got warnings. So Thomas has now caught Nils. He's within a second as well, so there's two battles going on track as we speak. And Marcel's gone faster, but he's still not got the 147s. He's gone ever so slightly faster. Again, another 148 flat. Let's go to the battle. Is the Mercedes on the McLaren. So we've already seen these battle, and we saw Thomas go wide, which give the McLaren a position. I will keep my eye on Michael and Marco and switch back to that if need be. He's not making that much headway. Marcel's going faster again. He's currently a 10th up. Or we're going to see the 147. Maybe, maybe not. Michael is now getting really close to Marco. And I think they are pulling in Klaus as well. Maybe not. I think that gap stabilised actually between them and Klaus. But this is getting really, really tasty. This gives you a good angle of how the cars take the corners together and where they exit. So we should see the back Ferrari get a bit of a tow. Thomas is actually under a second now as well. Oh, he's gone a bit hot there as Michael. That will cost him, it has cost him a 10th. That could easily have been dirty air causing that. He's not going to get a tow now. We might gain a 10th, but he's not going to get a position to pass. He's not close enough. So we've had 15 minutes worth of racing. No one's chosen to pit yet. I'd expect people to pit around the half-hour mark because that's probably the average you'd expect on your fuel usage. Oh, speak of the devil, Benjamin is pitting. So Benjamin's pitting because obviously he's got damage and he's decided to pull it in early. So I think we're going to see Benjamin in the pits for a little while he gets his damage repaired, because that is hindering him, and he should come out in a blaze of glory. Benjamin calls the shots first. Easy for me to say, but with a reason of obviously damage. Now this is the closest Michael's been. 4 tenths, 3 tenths, getting closer. Marco there just broke a little bit later to get the car in early. Sorry, late into the corner. And that's just allowed him to pull away a little bit. Had a good sector there, was Michael. Sorry, it's Marco. Just managed to pull away a little bit. Does it come through the parabolica? And there we go, the 147. Marcelo with a 147.9. First driver into the 147s. And Benjamin's coming out of the pits. Pit stop was 1 minute 28. Bad looks of it. That's entrance to exit. So he's got 25 seconds at least within that, which means his pit stop was a minute. I think he's repaired damage to the car. We'll check that in a second. If we jump to his car, we'll see if his bonnet's been fixed. Yeah, so he's had the repairs done. Some repairs have cost him half a minute. And he's looking at getting lapped here as well. So he has been lapped by Klaus. He's looking at getting lapped by Michael and Marco as we speak. Thomas has really dropped off the back of Nils. Now he's 3 seconds, 4 seconds. So all I can think of is Thomas has made a mistake. Again, Michael going a bit deep there, but he's still sticking at it. He's not giving up. Who's going to blink first for the next pit stop? A bit wide there from Michael. That will cost him not much, but it will cost him because he won't be able to get the traction down on the sand, and the sand obviously slows the cars down. So I think Marco will be eyeing up Benjamin, and the dilemma Benjamin's got is because he's going to be getting blue flagged. Does he let him go and lose places, or does he try and carry on and be in front? And that becomes a bit of a difficult one. But strictly speaking, if you're getting blue flags, you've got to move over. Not move over. Let the car behind pass safely. The blue flags, it's the car behind that has got to perform the pass. You should stick to your driving line and not make it any difficult for the car behind you. That's what they say anyway. Still a second behind here. He's not really making much headway. Marius is catching Christian, so I'm going to keep an eye on that one. Well, the gap itself is still just under 2 seconds, but I'm going to keep an eye on that to see if that starts coming down. That looks like Benjamin is managing to stay in front, so he may get away with staying held in that position because of his pit stop. He's got a good bit of speed now as Michael actually. Just needs to get this corner right like he didn't before, and he should stay quite close and get quite a good draft. That looked like a good exit that. He's gained a 10th in that corner alone. He's going to get a good draft now. I think we'll see the time coming down a touch. It's 4 tenths, it's down another 10th. So we get to 3. No. Both very similar, although the exit looked a little bit tidier from Michael there. He managed to keep the car fully on track, but again, equally, he could have lost time doing that. All depends on how much speed you carry. Not much in it, half a second. The track temperature's down another degree, so we've lost 2 degrees on the tap temperature. Still too warm for it to affect the tyres, so it's not going to be an issue. Marius has not keeping up with Christian. He's lost a bit of time. So whereas we thought Marius was gaining, it looks like the time is starting to go the other way a little bit. Marcel's keeping up with good consistent times here as well. These are very, very close, these two guys. Sticking within number second. Go to number 3. Oh, go number 3, my apologies. You're on about Thomas. Yeah. Yeah, he's losing time on Nils Julian. He's he was within a second, he's now nearly 4 seconds down. So I don't know if he's made a mistake. Did notice in qualifying that car did appear to be understeering. So it could very well be a car setup issue where it's just not going on. You can see that it's going very wide in the Parabolica compared to some of the other cars. So it does look like it's understeering massively. The McLaren, as we know, has got quite a small wheelbase, so it can turn a little bit more nimble. I mean, he'll keep going. He'll keep on at it. He'll keep having a good bit of pressure. I'm not too sure where he's going to pull that McLaren in of Nils or not. But we've got pit stops, don't forget. That could change absolutely everything. Yeah, he's lost half a second this lap alone, almost. Just really struggling is Thomas for some reason. Michael's losing time now as well. He's started to drop off the back of Marco. Yeah, it's 1.3 seconds where it's half a second before, so he's definitely lost time somewhere. I couldn't tell you where, but he is 0.8 down this lap. Nearly a second down on his fastest lap time. Is that a sign of the tyres just starting to go off because he's been pushing? I really don't know. Marco's lap times are very consistent, so consequently that means he's going to maintain position at the moment. He isn't making. He's making a bit of headway actually on Klaus as well. You can see Klaus in front there. It does look like he's pulling Klaus in. And it also does look like they've managed to pass Benjamin as well. The Mustang, so Benjamin's a lap down now as a result of that incident where he spun and hit the wall. Although Benjamin's not giving in, he looks like he wants his position back. And the ambient temperature started to drop now. We've lost a degree on the ambient. That means the air temperature is starting to drop. So what you probably tend to find now is the track temperature drops a little bit quicker as a result of the air temperature starting to drop as well. So that could impact the tyres for the second stint, if they do change tyres or not. Let's have a quick rundown. So in first position we have Marcel. He's 4.7 seconds ahead of Klaus behind him. He's in the BMW. And he's 3.8 seconds clear of Marco. As you can see, Marco and Michael's pulled a bit of time back here. He's getting to within a second again. There's Michael. And a lap down is Benjamin, you can see there behind. Next car on track is Nils. And he's made that gap between him and Thomas quite stable now. So it's sitting around the 4 second area. There's Thomas. We've got Christian, who's looks like a bit of a way down actually. He's 10 seconds behind. We've got Marius, who's a couple of seconds behind that, the other BMW. Got Christian in the Nissan, who's coming up to Parabolica. And then Benjamin, who is very close with these guys, but is a lap down. That's the rundown from the top. Let's go to where the action is. Sorry I can't show much more, but this is the only part of the track with action on it. And this is between Marco and Michael. I wonder if Michael's thinking of pitting early. Be quite an interesting tactic, that. Just jump in early to see if he can just gain that extra bit of a time just in the pits. You're going to have to be a second late and you'll come out in front. Let's see what happens. Yeah, the track temperature's starting to fall significantly now. As I said, as the air temperature drops. And Marcel's gone a little bit quicker, to hundredths of a second faster than his previous. And he's done exactly what I thought he'd do. Michael's pitted. That's exactly what I'd done in that situation. I'd have looked at where I am on track, I'd looked at how close I am. I'm halfway through, and that made perfect sense. Now the question is he going to change his tyres? So this is going to give the likes of Michael now, Marco, the ability to start pulling forward a little bit. It also means Nils is going to take 4th place as it stands, but that's academic because when all the pit stops are done, it'll put itself back to where it was. And Marco really just needs to get some really good laps in, and he is down. He's losing a couple of tenths here. So the onus really is on Michael. Can Michael get out? He's losing more time here, Marco. I'm wondering whether that number is the tyres just starting to go. Michael's now in 6th position, 7th, 8th position. As I say, it's academic because he's now exiting the pits. And he's going again. Oh, his stop was a 1:18. Now that implies that Benjamin only had 10 seconds worth of damage, which is quite fortunate really, because his pit stop was a 1:28. It also means Benjamin's now on the same lap as Michael. He was stationary a little bit longer by the looks of it, Michael as well. Quite understand that. Nils is pitting. So that means Thomas is going to pass, and we'll probably see Michael go and gain a position there as well. I did say they are going to start pitting now, and it looks like that's exactly what's going to happen. So this is for track position, even though he's pitted. Is Michael gaining on Christian in the Nissan? But I expect him to get him on the straight. You can just see the difference in performance as he comes out the corner. It's tons quicker. Now he's waited. Now is this because Christian's going to pit? Possibly not. If he pits now, he's going to take him out. So I doubt it. That was an outlap for Michael. So Nils is just leaving the pits. And he was a 1:14. He was 4 seconds quicker than Michael. And Marcel's pitting. And so is Klaus behind. And so is Marco. They're all at it. So that means Thomas will be leading the race as he comes round, unless he pits as well. He's staying inside, so that looks like he might be pitting as well. And he is also pitting. Christian is in the Mustang. Is he going to pit? He's ooh, a bit of a drift there. Well held. He's not pitting, so Christian could very well be becoming the leader. It's not updated my positions at the moment. I don't know why. I presume it's because it's trying to work out what's going on in relation to the pit stops. But it should all shuffle itself around in a minute. There you go. Let's recognise Christian's now leading. And the other Christian is now pitting as well. So the fastest pit stop was Nils with a 1:14. Marco did a 1:17. That wasn't enough for Michael. So Michael is still behind. Marco's come out on top of that really well. More so the fact that he was 3 seconds. He gained 3 seconds on Klaus. You can see there he's very, very close to Klaus here. That pit stop's really helped him. It's pulled him away from Michael by 3 seconds, but it's brought him into Klaus by 3 seconds. Marcel's back out. He did a 1:16 in the pits. Klaus was a 1:20. Thomas was a 1:24. So a couple of drivers just being sat in the pits a little bit long. That could come back and impact them that after this stint. Down to 26 minutes left to go. Marco's getting closer, ever so slightly closer here. Is this because they're trying to rewarm the tyres? I don't know. He's took a good couple of tenths out of him here. And Christian's still going round. He's yet to pit, as is Marius. So the only two drivers who haven't pitted yet is Christian and Marius. Klaus looks like he may just have got to grips with the tyres again coming out the pits, because his times are just starting to improve a little bit. We shall see how that compares with Marco. But he's pulled a couple of tenths on Marco there alone. It makes me think he's either nailing the corners now, or his tyres have come in and he can push a little bit more. Yeah, he's pulling away quite quickly now. The gap was 1.2 seconds. It's now 1.8, so it's increasing. 1.9. So it's and you can see Michael's behind Marco as well, and he's took a second out of Marco. I think Marco, did he change his tyres? Is he still going to his tyres up? And there goes Christian into the pits, as well as Marius. So we shall see Marcel back in the lead. Michael's definitely gaining. Closing that gap down on Marco. Was a bit deep there from Klaus. Yeah, Michael's definitely got the bit between his teeth here by the looks of it. Marcel's back in the lead again. Michael's lap times are really, really good actually. Just looking at this. Oh. What happened? What happened to Michael there? Let's have a look. Yeah, he's gone off. Thought he had. His time just dropped. Yeah, no longer as close as he was to Marco. I think he's gone wide. He's had to recover the car. That's what it looked like anyway. I could be wrong. Yeah, you can see he was into the corner before. He's lost a good couple of seconds here. No damage on his car. Not that I can see. Don't think he's hit anything. Yeah, just must have gone wide. Missed the braking point and gone onto the grass or something. He's losing time. But it appears to be, as I said. Right, Benjamin. I'm going to go and concentrate on Benjamin a little bit. And the reason being is he's catching Christian up in the other Ford. I think this is where we're going to see action in the next couple of laps. You can see in front of him Christian just turning left. Let the power down coming out of that corner, so I do think we're going to see another 2 laps perhaps. He'll be right on his coattails, I think, looking at the lap times anyway. The gaps everywhere else are just too big. This is the closest we've got. So it did look like Benjamin was catching. I do think you can see it as well visually now. Would exit out of there. He's within 3 seconds now. Let's see what the last lap times were for the pair of these drivers. Christian did a 1:49.8. Benjamin did a 1:49.1. So we're talking 7-8 tenths difference between them. It's down to 2.3 seconds. Christian's doing a good lap time in that other Mustang as well. 1:49.5 is his best. They're very similar actually on times, these two. 1/10 in it. "19 minutes to go." What laboured turning in then, didn't it, the Ford? Like it didn't want to turn. That was a good exit. Christian's 3/10 up on his lap, so Christian's he's going quicker. Benjamin's only 2/10 up. So Christian's not giving this up easily. Well, like he had to correct it then, but then again Christian's gone very, very deep. It hasn't cost him any time there though. He's got away with that. That was a good exit by Benjamin. That it took two tenths out of him. Prediction of a couple of laps was probably wrong. Good exit that. It gained him 3/10. You can visually see that as well. 4/10. So he's definitely going to be closer by the end of this lap, probably within 2 seconds. It's 2.4 at the moment. Again, another bit of a mistake there by Christian. 2.1 seconds now. 2 seconds, so he's under 2 seconds. Time is dropping. I don't know if Christian's got a bit of a problem. He's down to 1.8. 1.7. Reeling him in proper now. Christian's half a second down on his time. He's definitely struggling a little bit at the moment. Michael has got the gap down to 3 seconds between him and Marco. Interesting to see if he can do that in 16 minutes. I do think that at the end of this middle sector here of the next lap, I think we're going to see Benjamin right on the back end of Christian. Bit of a correction there, nice recovery. Could have easily put him in the barrier. That still quicker. The last lap was a 150.1 and a 149.2, so he was nearly a full second quicker. And that shows you the times. You can see this little sector here, Benjamin's got nailed because he takes chunks out of Christian there. Another 2/10 out of him in that corner alone. .3. Michael's down to 2.5 seconds. A bit of a correction, that'll cost him a 10th, and it has done. It was a good little sector there. Game pulled back another 10th, another 2/10, 1.2. He needs another half second to get into the toe. Oh, he's made a mistake as Christian there. You can see he's gone too deep into the corner, and that's took the time down to under a second now. Oh, weaving, naughty, naughty, breaking the toe. That's frowned upon. He's trying to break the toe and he's gone too deep. That's going to cost him. Got a safe rejoin. I think Benjamin's going to get him here. Yeah. He just got his braking point wrong, I think. I did say Benjamin was going to catch him and he did. Just unfortunately, under the circumstances, we didn't see proper racing. we'll see him pull away now. Let's jump back forward. And let's go on board with Michael and see how Michael's doing with Marco. It's the Parabolica. 2.5 seconds. Bearing in mind at one point he was 6 seconds behind. So he's really done some pulling back here. That last lap Marco was slightly quicker. Keeping them on the toes, isn't it? Bit of a rundown from start to finish. Marcel running quite happily at the front. He's 11 seconds, 10 or thereabouts seconds clear of Klaus, who's in second place. Klaus is 6 seconds ahead of Marco. He's in third place. And then we've got Michael, who's 2.5 seconds. Oh, bit of a mistake there. Is that what he did before, I wonder? That's cost him a second, that. I've got a feeling that's what he did before, something like that. He just put the power down on the grass. That's cost him that. Nils is in 5th place. He's 22 seconds behind Michael. Thomas is 4 seconds behind Nils. You'll see him just in the distance there. Marcel with a 1:47.8. He's flying. 19 seconds behind that is Benjamin. We've just seen obviously catch up and pass Christian. 2 seconds behind now is Christian in the other Mustang. Got his braking point wrong into turn 1, and that allowed Benjamin to pass him on the following straight. Four seconds behind that we've got Marius in the other BMW. And then finally we've got Christian behind that in the Nissan. So no real active battles going on now. Yeah, Thomas is 4 seconds behind Nils. We'll stay with him a little bit, see if he starts gaining. But Nils is lap in front. Nils is actually 2/10 up. So I think it's fair to say Nils has got the bit between his teeth, as Thomas just seems to struggle in the rotation of that car. Be interesting to see where it ends up this. We've got 10 minutes to go. 10 minutes to go. Yeah, it's that gap stabilised. There's still not much going on. I'm going to jump back to Marius, because Marius is gaining on Christian. I'm not too sure at what speed, but that gap has come down. But I think Christian's lap is 1.5 seconds out, so it looks like he has made a mistake somewhere. So Christian's lap was a 1:51.5. Marius's lap was a 1:50.1. So 1.5 seconds better off he was. That lap alone. Definitely gaining on him. Down to 2.4 seconds now. Can he do it with the time left? We'll have to wait and see. He's gone wide there. That's cost him. Drivers are starting to make mistakes now. There's a bit of tiredness starting to get in. It is hard work doing these races. You know, anything over 45 minutes, and you do start to struggle. There's only been one incident whole race as well of contact, and that was earlier on between Benjamin and Thomas. 28 seconds into the race. Nothing happened. Nothing come out of it. So both drivers could carry on really. Marco's looked like Marco was gaining a little bit then on Klaus, but I don't think it's actually the case. I think Michael's got struggling a little bit. His times are not going well in the right direction. And Marius, as a result of that mistake, has cost him as well. He's down back to 3 seconds with 7 minutes to go. 7 minutes is basically going to be 1:48, 4 laps, perhaps. He's down to 2.8. He's really got to do half a second per lap to pull that gap in, and then he's got to pass him. Thomas is gaining on Nils a little bit, so I'm going to keep an eye on that. I don't think he's close enough to even consider thinking he's going to get past him, but the time is coming down, I think it's fair to say. It was in the 4 seconds, it's now into the 3 seconds. He's got this down to 2 seconds. He's late into that corner again. That's cost him. He had the gap down exactly where he wanted it, and he made a mistake in the same corner. He would have been on target to do that if he'd have kept that in then. Gap wise, he'd have been in to have him on the last lap. Don't think he's going to have it now. Oof, that's really stealing the corner. It worked. It took 3/10 out of him. If you can nail that corner, it'll be alright. Thomas is down to 3.2 seconds. Again, that's not enough with the time given. And Marius isn't making much headway here. He's really he gains in the last sector, and then he seems to lose it again. This next corner looks like it's his Achilles heel. And Christian's had a really good exit. His delta's up, so he's doing well in the Ford there now. Is Christian? He's braking in a much better position there. He's got the rotation quite early on. That's a tons better corner. That wood previously took easily 4/10 out of it. Well, he doesn't want to be doing that. Invalid lap, and also losing traction. Yeah, I think it's that's not going to happen, and Although you can see there, Nils and Thomas, I don't think he's close enough. I mean, Nils is then going to have to pass, it looks like, Christian in the Nissan. But I don't think it's going to hinder him a little bit. Because Christian will have to be, you know, it's blue flags and that. Oh, Nils has gone wide though. That could help Thomas. Don't think it's going to though. 2 laps to go. You can see the blue flags in front being waved. Let's jump forward, watch Nils get past the Nissan. He's going to get him on the straight, I reckon. Yeah, he's already got him. Thomas is 2 seconds though. Oh, that Nissan's wobbling a little bit. So is Thomas going to get the Nissan as well? He could do with getting it cleared. Don't think it's going to be enough time for Thomas, to be honest. Nissan's still quick on a straight though, isn't it? That's going to hold him up a little bit, eventually. Oh, he's got the toe as well. He had the toe on the straight and he's also got the toe here. 2 seconds. It's going to be enough, if I'm being honest. So when Marcel crosses the line, this will be the final lap. He's down to 1.6 seconds. Not going to be enough. Unless Nils makes a mistake, it's back up to 2 again. Here we go, we're on the final lap, I believe. I will switch back if we need to. I've got my eye on the times so I can see what's going on. But obviously Marcel looks like he's going to win the race. So we'll follow him for the final lap. As he finishes 8 seconds clear at the moment. Thomas is still 1.5 seconds behind Nils. The gap isn't increasing or decreasing. It is the closest gap on track, but at this lap Thomas is quicker, but it's not quick enough. Oh, Marcel got a bit wide there. Hope we weren't going to put it into the barrier then. That would have been awful, awful, awful to be this late on. I do think this is it. This is the final lap, I think. It says one more lap, doesn't it, on the screen? Clock has gone to 0. Which implies race is done. When he finishes the finish line, crosses the finish line, he will be the winner. Oh, bit of a drift there. Yeah, Thomas never gained. We have a winner. Marcel wins the race. Klaus is coming round for a 2nd place. Marco comes to finish the podium off. A bit of pressure early on. And Michael comes around. And Nils. Thomas made it to 1.8, so it wasn't enough. There comes Thomas. Benjamin, a bit of a distance. He's coming to the Parabolica now. After his off, he did a good recovery there, did Benjamin, to be fair. Christian in the other Mustang. Marius in the BMW. And Christian. Oh, it's not letting me go to Christian. Oh, Christian's already pulled over because he'd finished. He crossed the line. So that's the end of the race. Thanks for watching. If you haven't clicked like, please click like. I will try and do what races I can on Wednesdays. I think the next 3 are actually 1 hour races, so it will be entertaining, and obviously the same sort of characteristics but on different tracks. Hopefully you've all enjoyed that. Pass my regards on to everyone. Thanks very much for watching. Take care.